Shot, reverse shot.
Let me tell you, people don't want a champion. They want to eat cheeseburgers.
This technique is typically used in conversation sequences. We go back and forth from one character to the next, seeing them either delivering or reacting to dialogue, as you can see in this scene from Seven.
There wasn't one.
Since we see the characters from opposite directions, we assume they are looking towards each other. This makes the scene one continuous flow that develops in a chronological order. The 180-degree rule is a basic guideline for how to use space when filming a scene. It begins by creating an imaginary line through a scene called the axis. In this scene from The Lord of the Rings, the line is going straight through the battlefield.
We're back now with Dr.
Once you place your camera on one side of the line, you should keep all your shots within the 180-degree arc on the same side of the line. Crossing the line has few effects on a scene. Firstly, it can make some scenes difficult to follow and can confuse and disorientate the audience. It can also shift the actor's eye line, making them appear to be facing in the opposite direction. The only way you can cross the line without these affecting your scene is to show the camera movement over the line.
To two simple words.
Renewable biofuels.
Close. Time warps.
Time warps?
Time warps.
You're serious about this?
I'm deadly serious.
When did you notice her obsession with celebrity starting?
I first noticed when she moved away, really. That's when she started getting obsessed.
You know, I realised it was a problem when she started lying to me.
Cross-cutting.
Get her out of there.
Go, Delta, move now.
Cross-cutting is a technique used to show action that's occurring at the same time but in different locations. As we can see in this clip from The Bourne Supremacy, there are 3 different locations shown through cross-cutting. We follow a man and a woman, a person who is trying to find them, and people in an office. The effect of cross-cutting allows the audience to see what is happening in multiple places at once. These cut from one place to another, back and forth, and suggest that these are happening simultaneously. Match on action.
Trust me.
Match on action is when an action begins in one shot, and then we cut to another shot still showing the same thing, where the action is carried out in a smooth transition. This gives the impression of continuous time to the audience and distracts them from noticing the cut. Temporal overlap. A temporal overlap is when we see an action happen multiple times but from a different angle. It's done as it helps to emphasise the contents of a shot and gives the audience a second chance to see it. It's typically used in action films and sequences that show a lot of fast-paced action. Seeing the action again, usually slowed down, gives the audience a chance to see everything a bit more clearly and to properly comprehend it. The Kuleshov effect. This technique is named after Russian filmmaker Lev Kuleshov and uses montage. Facial expressions and body language mean something different when placed next to different images. For example, say we see the face of a man who is looking at something that is out of the shot, and there are shown a shot of food. We assume the man is looking at the food and is hungry. However, say we see the same first shot of the man's face, but then a shot of a woman's body. We would assume he's looking at her and that he's lusting after her. This technique helps the audience derive meaning from the shots that are used in the order they are put in. Montage. There are 5 different types of montage. Firstly, metric. This means cutting to the beat. The cutting is done based purely on length of the shot. This brings out a basic emotional response as it goes for the tempo, which can be raised or lowered for effect. Then there is rhythmic. This means it's like metric in that it's based on time and tempo, but this is more concerned with what's inside the frame, cutting in tempo with the action. Then there is tonal. This means it's concerning with tones of the shot and not time. It takes into account lighting, shadows, and shapes of the frame. Overtonal means it's concerning montage of large sequences and concerns a lot of the same as all 3. It's all about how whole sequences play against each other. And lastly, there is intellectual or ideological. This means it's concerning ideas. The above methods all deal with creating an emotional response for the audience, whereas this works to create abstract ideas by making relationships between opposing intellectual concepts.